Littlepay is a Geelong-based fintech. Our role, I suppose, is to process little payments for businesses. Our goal is to simplify and disrupt the world of little payments, and in doing so, what we want to do is deliver big benefits and value starting with public transport. Today, Visa and MasterCard process around about 200 billion payment transactions each year, but public transport operators process about 500 billion transactions on those little proprietary smart cards that you have to go and buy in each city and top up locally. Our goal is to really enable you to throw away those cards and instead just use your normal Visa or MasterCard, your debit card, your PayPal, wallet, mobile phone, Android, Apple Pay, wearables, etc. And how we do that is when you tap that card or you come into the vehicle, what you're doing is that you're giving us a bit of data from the vehicle and from yourself, which then comes up to us. We process those taps, we put them together into a journey, we look at that journey, we work out for you whether there's any discounts that apply because you're someone young. We look at all those taps and transactions that occur during the day, and then we come up with the best fare or the best deal for you. We aggregate all that into one transaction and charge it to your Visa, your MasterCard, your bank account, or whatever that other source wants. Businesses have had a lot of problems handling little payments. Most of the payment systems out there were really built to do $100 transactions, and so a 10 or 20 cent processing cost isn't a big issue. But if you've got a $1 or a $2 or $3 transaction, that might be 10% of your cost, which is far too high. Heritage payment systems have really struggled to deal with little payments, and as a result, there's a lot of proprietary solutions still out there, which are quite inconvenient for the consumers. What we've done is we've built a very API-centric, cloud-based solution. We still have to have a little bit out in the physical world for security reasons, and we've deployed that in London and in Sydney, and we've started processing transactions in fairly large numbers in the last few months. So today, public transport's really been held back by the limitations imposed by cash and proprietary technologies. Cash is very slow to process. It slows the boarding process. That means routes take longer. Operators need more buses, they need more drivers, and there's also in cities where there are narrow streets, it causes a lot of congestion. Equally, proprietary smart cards, the ones that are issued to you, which you put a product on or put some stored value on, those are very expensive to produce, to get them out in people's hands, and then people have to update them, and they have to put products on them, and they have to go to an agent to put value on. What open payments do, EMV, the contactless cards you're familiar with, is that they allow operators to essentially leverage all the cards that are already out there and the infrastructure that banks and payment schemes have built over the years to support these transactions. I guess what the big impact to a lot of them is that it reduces costs. Cash typically costs transport operators about 20 to 30% of their revenue to handle. When you look at the proprietary smart cards, typical numbers around about 10 to 15. Transport for London, for Oyster, for example, is at 14%. But when you move to open payments, you're looking more like 5%. So it's more than a halving of the cost of payments today. So with all the problems you're probably aware of in implementing these systems, how long it takes, how many disasters there's been, you might think it's quite a complex process. But it's actually relatively simple. The readers that are in the barriers, that are in the buses, already take contactless cards. They just need to be upgraded for EMV. And then those transactions are shunted along to us. It works in parallel with the existing systems until such time that you don't use those systems anymore. We just add another way to pay. So we started about 18 months ago working with a group called Go Ahead Group in the UK. They wanted to implement it initially in Oxford, a smart city. Over that time, we've implemented that in June this year. Since then, we've implemented with 2 of the other major transport operators in the UK, including First Group. We've rolled out pretty much to all of Go Ahead over the last few months since we originally went live, and we're now rolling out to Go Ahead, and we have about 12 other operators in the UK that we started to implement before the end of the year. I guess our big, hairy, audacious goal is to get to 50% of transactions in buses outside of London by the end of next year, as well as trains and trams. Today, the numbers are still there, but we did 66,000 transactions last week, worth £250,000 on 2,800 vehicles. So today we account for about 10% of the revenue of our first customers. We're growing that quite quickly. We're just concentrating now on the customer that walks on that's probably an infrequent user, allowing them to interact with the driver. Over time, that will develop into other areas and other ones.
Thank you.